Hey, did anyone use a fake rock? Yep.
Yeah,
right
that
over
was
here.
us.
Right here, big
This
guy.
is what they just do with the Epstein list. Just come out and say it.
Come
so
on.
we stop talking
We're
about
not
it.
going to be mad.
We're not going to be mad. Just tell
We're not
us,
going to be
bro.
mad.
Just tell
We're
us what
just
you
going
did.
to ask. We just have a couple follow-up questions.
It is Friday, September 19th, and we have an incredible episode for you presented by Cash App, as always. We're talking our top 5 stories that you need to know, including the OG Hawkeye, aliens in Panama, and LimeWire back in the news. Plus, our boy Rusty hops on to talk about a stone skimming scandal that has swept Scotland. How about that for alliteration? And a little bit of convo about Hot Boy Europe summer. We wrap up the episode with a reminder to call your grandparents after reading the most wholesome text I've read in my entire life. Let's have a frickin' weekend. Why don't we? These are our 5 favorite stories of the week. Story number 1. Let's pour one out for the OG hot movie star, Robert Redford, who died earlier this week at age 89. Let's pour one out. Give it up for Robert. This is the kind of hot movie star that, like, your grandma would be like, they don't make him like Robert Redford anymore. If your grandma, like, is a chain-smoking New York grandma, that's what she would sound like. None of this Jacob Elordi shit. This is a all-time classically handsome guy who actually was so handsome he lost out on roles. He was up for the role of The Graduate, and the director said, Robert, you can't do it. You're too handsome. You can't play a loser. And Redford said, what do you mean? Of course I can play a loser. And the director said, okay, have you ever struck out with a girl? And he said, what do you mean? He wasn't joking. He literally could not conceptualize a woman not wanting to be with him. If that was my life, I would be a way worse person than he was, honestly. Shout out to him, because he was not just an actor and director, but he also was an environmentalist. And he also started something called the Sundance Film Festival. All right. He found out that people in the industry weren't having their voices heard. He wanted to shine a light on independent movies. He created the Sundance Film Festival. He is responsible for Vinny Chase's career with Queens Boulevard. Shout out Robert Redford. One last thing that I will be remembering him for this week. You know that GIF? You probably thought this GIF was Zach Galifianakis. We all did. The bearded man sitting by the river, zoomed in on his face, nodding, smiling knowingly. That's not Zach Galifianakis. That's Robert Redford from Jeremiah Johnson, which is a movie that apparently was good. I didn't see it, but it looks sick. So shout out to Robert Redford from The Natural, from Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. We will miss you, sir. Rest easy, brother. Story number 2. In a headline that is straight from 2021, LimeWire acquires the Fyre Festival IP for $245,000 as part of their NFT project. I have not thought about NFTs in a long time. Have you, Kate? I don't even remember that. That was such a moment in time.
I don't even remember what an NFT is.
I'm glad we missed that. I was hoping that would happen with AI, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Like, I might have to actually care about it.
Yeah, unfortunately. I think so.
LimeWire, if you're a little bit younger, LimeWire is like how millennials used to illegally download music online. Now it was purchased by some brothers, and it's an NFT project, I guess. Firefest was the festival gone wrong. There was like 2 documentaries about it at the same exact time. Our boy Billy McFarland went to jail and has to pay back his investors. In order to do so, he auctioned off the IP on eBay. I think he was expecting to get a lot more, because during the live stream, he sees it goes for $245K. He goes, fuck, that's low. That's low. Yeah, dude. Nobody wants it. I mean, scammer documentaries are one of my favorite things. I would love to see Napster by Theranos appoint the Tinder swindler as the CEO. We will see what happens with this. Shout out NFTs. You might be back. Story number 3 that you need to know. There are aliens in Panama, at least according to TikTok. All right. Kate, have you seen any of these videos?
I have now.
I showed you a few of these this morning. This is basically what's been going on. Is a guy in Panama says that he found an alien from a crashed meteorite, captured it in a safe, and is just like posting videos on his TikTok of this alien. The alien, people are calling it Venom because it's like a black blob, I guess, that looks like Venom, the fucking movie character. I'm just going to say one thing. if this is what aliens actually look like, I'm going to be fucking pissed.
It's way less fun.
Oh my God. It's like a stranger's thing. Like, it's just hard to, I'm trying to describe this, but I can't because the earth has never seen something like this. This guy is going crazy viral. He's got dozens and dozens of videos on his TikTok. People are saying it's real. People are saying it's not real. I think it's a sign of the times that people want aliens to exist so badly that they're willing to believe that this is actually a fucking alien, right? This actually is how an alien would come to exist, is some dude finds it and starts posting TikToks about it. And then finally the government has to be like, fine, it is fucking aliens. Many on Twitter think this is a potato.
I see it. You know how potatoes,
It's not a potato.
when potatoes rot, they get like weird little sprouts coming out of them.
Maybe it is a potato. I mean, the last thing I'll say about this, AI is going to be incredible for the UFO economy. Okay? People want aliens to exist so badly. They will believe anything. This is probably the best use case for AI is staging alien sightings. All right? Fourth thing you got to know this week, the Ellisons are owning all of your eyeballs. Right? So big story this week, Larry Ellison, if you don't know who he is, he's the founder of Oracle. This week, he became the second richest man in the world. He beat out Elon Musk. Take that, Elon Musk. Larry Ellison is 81 years old. If you don't know what Oracle is, you probably don't have an office job. Oracle is basically like cloud software. It has now become extremely valuable due to AI. They have a contract with OpenAI. Two things in the news this week about the Ellison family. The long-awaited TikTok US-China deal has the frameworks of a deal. The making, what is it that Trump said? Like the concept of a plan, the concept of a framework of a deal to bring TikTok back to the US without China is going to be owned by Oracle, right? So that's not incredible news. Story number 2, Larry Ellison's son, who purchased Paramount with his generational wealth, a good use of generational wealth, is also trying to buy Warner Brothers. So he's basically buying up every movie studio. His dad's owning TikTok. Everything you see in the next 10 years will be will be coming from the Ellisons. And just accept that, and that's okay. This is better than what I would do. I mean, if you are this rich, if your dad is worth $200 billion, $300 billion, like, I would just do drugs and party the whole time. I wouldn't be trying to like get stressed out about corporate mergers. But people are different. Thank you, Ellisons, for giving us entertainment in the world, and we love you so much. And please push us to the algorithm, please. Our final story, if you only remember one story from this podcast, remember this. A stone skimming scandal has struck Scotland. That is an incredible amount of alliteration, an incredible amount of irony in the stone skimming championship this year. Okay, we are now in the steroid era of stone skimming. A bit of context for this one. Every year, there's a contest on this tiny island in Scotland. Who can throw a stone the longest? Very simple, very pure. There's no money at stake, but guess what? People got greedy. They got inspired by Deflategate and decided to take matters into their own hands and form stones that were illegally circular. There's a lot more to come on this one. So much so that I had to bring in someone from the office. I heard our boy Rusty walking around the office bragging about how good he is at throwing stones. And I knew he was the perfect person to talk about this with me today. Joining the pod for now his third time, I believe, is the one, the only, Rusty Featherstone. Give it up for a boy from Playdate Pod.
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, I've said this before and I've said it again. News is a dangerous business in this country, and anyone who is putting out the real stuff, I'm going to support any way I can.
Thank you. Yeah, we have the courage to cover some of the biggest scandals of today's news, and nothing has really been a bigger scandal for anyone online this week than the World Stone Skimming Championships. A scandal has rocketed, or rather stoned, the World Stone Skimming Championships this week. Rusty, your initial thoughts, how much information do you have on this topic, or just from a bird's eye view?
From a macro sense, almost none. Can I tell you, just based off reading the headline, it makes me sick to my fucking stomach.
Right. Is nothing sacred anymore?
This was one of the final frontiers where, good competition could exist in its purest form. You find your weapon of choice in, nature. There's no big brow, highbrow manufacturer making these, out of carbon and polluting the ocean.
Right.
This was the final place where competition could really exist in a pure state, and it's just been ruined by who's this fucking guy?
Well, there's actually been several suspects in this case that we'll touch on a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like, we have entered the steroid era of the stone skimming championship.
They're juicing the rocks.
Yeah, and it's the kind of same thing with golf when it's like now it's just like Bryson's making his own blades, and it's like there used to be a level playing field, and that's completely changed.
I know. It's honestly disgusting. I like they use the word suspect. Did they they don't know who, so they had to send scuba divers down there to get the rocks?
Here's why I do have a little bit of faith. Send scuba divers down to check the rocks.
We got a fucking perfect stone.
All right. So a bit of context on this World Stone Skimming Championships. This takes place on the tiny island of Eastdale, which is off the west coast of Scotland, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
I'm familiar. Been many times. It's beautiful this time of year.
It's stunning. And you would be one of only 60 people on that island because that's how many people live there throughout the year.
Right.
Okay.
I was conceived on that island.
Right. That goes without saying.
That's why I have such an affinity for Scotland.
Right. Actually, we were talking to one of our coworkers today, and I was like, were you born on 9/11? And he was like, no, but I actually was conceived on 9/11. I was born 9 months from that date.
It was a scary day for all of us, and we all cope in different ways. I know if I was of age, I would have grabbed my lady and I would have made sweet love.
It's like the world is ending. Let's just have a last.
Let's make a little love in all this chaos.
Yeah, kind of romantic.
There's nothing sexier than imminent doom.
Exactly. All right. So here's a bit of context for the World Stone Skimming Championships.
Okay.
More than 2,200 people every year from 27 countries attend this tiny island.
Okay.
Right? To compete. Basically, the way the rules work are stones must be found from naturally occurring island slate. Okay? So there's 2,200 people walking around the island trying to find
You have to
stones.
find it here.
It has to be on this island.
Okay.
Which is an important caveat.
Or is it known for their stones?
It's a Scottish island with, you can see, I don't know if it's known for the stones. It's known for its water.
Right.
Which most islands are.
Yes.
It's surrounded by
So if
it.
I showed up and I had some sort of inland rock.
Yeah, they would be like, oh, no.
Landlocked rock. That's not going to play.
Well, this is an important factor.
Okay.
So there is a device that is called the Ring of Truth, which is how we determine if this is a legal rock or not. It has to be, I believe, 3 inches in diameter. When you find a rock, it has to slide through the Ring of Truth. Okay? The master of proceedings is Dr. Matthews, who is called the Toss Master.
Okay.
Which is pretty sick, right?
Pretty awesome.
That's a cool job to have.
My knee-jerk reaction is I can't imagine he's a doctor in anything real.
He's Doctor of Stone Skimming.
Right.
Yeah, where'd you get your degree, bro? Let's check in.
Phoenix.
Hey.
Nothing wrong with DeVry.
Nothing wrong with DeVry. It comes in all types. It wasn't a small liberal arts college in the South, so I don't respect it at all.
Not the Harvard of the South.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is where
the Harvard of Richmond, which is where I went. So the controversy came when people were complaining that some of these rocks were suspiciously circular. So people were having fake rocks at this event, which kind of goes against the entire spirit of it.
Right.
I will say, though,
it's a gentleman's sport.
It's a gentleman's sport, right? And there's no cash prize.
Right.
There's why are you cheating?
Right.
I do feel like...
What is suspiciously circular?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Just some guy has a
that's
perfect disc.
Right.
Okay.
Which I think is why this was happening. And then there's a quote here. The offenders had held their hands up and apologized. So again, this is the gentleman's sport. So thank you, honestly.
It's, you know what? My dad used to always say, if you get in trouble, admit it early, take your beating early. It's going to be a lot better. I like that no one even put up a fight. They were like, hey, did anyone use a fake rock? Yep.
Yeah,
right
that
over
was
here.
us.
Right here, big guy.
This is what they just do with the Epstein list. Just come out and say it.
Come on.
We stop talking about it.
We're not going to be mad.
We're not going to be mad. Just tell us,
We're not going to be mad. We're just going to ask. We just have a couple follow-up questions. How many offenders immediately were like, yep?
It said several. So I don't know. Several. What would you consider several? This is a timeless question.
7 and up.
7 and up is, wow. I would say at least 3. 6 and now the question begs, was this a conspiracy? Hey, bro, this is what I've been doing. I won't tell if you don't tell. And
or this guy had manufactured these perfect circles and he was like, it's going to be so clear if I do it. So he got together the guys who he knew couldn't skip. And he was like, I'm just, hey,
we're all
don't
doing
ask
it.
where I got them. We're all doing it.
Don't ask, don't
We're in the
tell,
steroid
honestly.
of. Also, what's the difference between rock skimming and rock skipping? That's what I want to know.
This is so the way this competition works is they get 3 throws. It has to hit at least 3 times on the water, and then it's whichever one goes the farthest. The winning rock went 184 meters, I believe, which is like 2 football fields. That's you threw a hamburger almost as far, or Willie did.
Willie threw a hamburger 49 yards, and that was perfectly circular. So here's the question: are they throwing it? Like what is the average point of contact? Do you try and throw it 180 meters and just have it like putter out at the end?
Yeah,
or do you early skip it and then it frisbees that far?
I think you have to have a big first throw.
Right.
Skips about 50 meters in and then skip. Like click this video, Kate, the Dan Barker one. Yeah, this is the women's world championship. And there are separate divisions. So that's an early first.
That is an early skip.
An early first splash. Actually, it's the second throw that you won. So
okay, so this is the women's championship.
The women's
so we
world
just imagine
championship.
it going like twice as far, and that's probably like where the men's winner was.
And they get paid the same wage. Okay, so that went far. It's a little hard to see.
Right. So what's the incentive? What's the incentive to cheat? Do these guys have? Are there like groupies that follow these people around? Where like if you win, you're gonna get, a lot of loving.
Who's the bad boy of the stone skimming championship?
Are there potential brand deals down the line where like they're like Olympians where they don't make money there, but after
it's in the sponsorships?
Right.
I like that. Yeah, I feel like if Will Ferrell was like in his peak of sports movie making, he would have done something like this. Is like the Blades of Glory. Version of this. I don't know. I think you just don't want to be embarrassed. And I also think if there's 2,000 people searching for rocks on this tall island, you're like, there's no fucking rocks left, guys.
Yeah. At some point, we got to start making our own.
It is, though. It's like if you catch yourself cheating at the World Stone Skimming Championship, you might want to take a look in the mirror.
Take a step back. Take a step back and look at it kind of big picture and go, what am I doing?
What kind of guy do I want to be?
Do you know I had a business idea when I was a kid?
Okay.
I was going to try and create a mold of the perfect, skipping rock.
Okay.
Because we would go down to Kettle Cove Beach, and kind of similar to this island, like you were saying, there's only so many rocks that are the correct shape. We were going to build this mold. We were going to find some sort of limestone mix that could fill it perfectly. And then we would sell them in bags to hardware stores. Next time you get onto the beach, you're like, let's stop at Ace. Take up a bag, and then you got a bag of perfect skipping stones.
Does that ruin? Because I feel like part of the vibe of stone skipping is finding the rock. Like that's kind of like when you have like a fire starter log. I guess you still start a fire.
Not me. I'm all about performance. I have no interest. Absolutely no interest in looking around for the rock. That is the boring part. I want to get out there with a full bag.
Yep.
And just go nuts for 15 minutes.
I actually kind of love that. I mean, it does feel very satisfying to just rip a good stone skim.
But here's my question. They're doing it in like a pretty short cove.
Right. So I think this is more to like celebrate this island. Kate, click this guy. Have you seen the YouTube thing? Kurt Steiner. Have you seen this?
Yeah. Oh my God.
World record, 88 skips.
Do this full screen for us.
Yeah, make that. It seems impossible. So they count at the bottom. This is, by the way, a 1.5-minute video that seems to be slowed down.
Surely.
No, it's still going.
So 88 skips.
Yeah, we're basically halfway done. And it just shows him.
Why is this guy not competing? This guy would blow it out of the fucking water.
I think he's like, wow, see, this is when the real competitors start to take up, is when you hit the 60s.
This is where the boys become men.
Exactly. I mean, he would own the world stone
heroes
skipping.
become legends.
It's still going.
88 skips.
Do you think it feels good as a stone to just skip like that?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's got to feel amazing.
That's like, this is actually a live feed of my dad throwing me off the boat when we were tubing. When I was a kid, we were tubing in Bethel, Maine.
Okay.
And my dad had this move called the Ring of Death, where he would drive around in a ring.
And it
would create this kind of like chaotic circle of like choppy waves.
Yeah.
And then he would bring you right over it. And for the first time in my life, I held on. And I think that really pissed him off because he was like,
oh, he was trying to like shake you off.
He was trying to get me off. And
Yeah.
so he just went and did the widest turn, you know, where the tube goes all the way out. And I'm literally not joking. He skipped me to the shore. So I landed, like when I was done, like.
Were you still holding on or you
No,
just
no,
let go?
I let go and it skipped me. He was like, it was the most impressive thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
How old were you?
7. And
Got
he said
it,
I
okay.
didn't tube from 7 until 13.
No, that's terrifying.
He threw me into like the bushes.
No, you should have died.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a
could've
great
died.
way to get a concussion or like separate your shoulder.
That is
like
actually,
doing these
it's
things.
an important note. At this point, I had already had 2 concussions before the age of 7.
Guys,
So
you
they
have
were
CTE.
they were not taking it easy on me.
from this a thing or just
Our
living
insurance,
your life.
our insurance company made us get rid of our trampoline because I had a friend named Garrett Alexander who, this
Shout
is
out
not a
Garrett.
joke, wore a size 9.5 A6 at like 8 years old. Like he
Wow.
was already just
He's a
way
beast.
too big of a guy, and he
Yeah.
would double bounce me, and I
On
would
the trampoline.
Yeah, and I would fly off. And our insurance company goes, you can either find a new insurance provider or you can get rid of this death trap in your backyard.
Trampolines are very dangerous. Like my parents would never. We had one from like when we moved into the house. The old people had it, and they made us get rid of it because it's like there's no way that that's safe. Like
You know, I was blind for an afternoon. This is a true story. Second concussion was like a week after my first one.
Okay.
And in young children, it is not uncommon for their vision to go out when they get like a really bad concussion.
That's crazy.
Smacked my head. My mom said I was looking up at her and saying that I couldn't see. And she was like, there was an afternoon where I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to raise a blind child. And then I got it back.
Oh, whew. Do you have an anecdote for just like every situation?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of that's your charm.
It's the nature of the job.
That's what you do.
I have a notebook in my back pocket.
Okay, this is a really cool thing to be very good at. What is some random thing that like you would want to just like if you had the time spend your time getting really good at?
The high jump.
Yeah, well, you're just not going to do that.
You don't know that.
Rusty,
You don't know what I'm
Rusty,
capable
I've
of.
seen the way you walk.
You
and
don't
I
know
how your
what
body
I'm capable
moves.
of.
I'm very aware of your athletic.
Okay, so it's something that
It would
has
be
to
like
be
here, look,
plausible.
I'm pulling up like some of these like Guinness World Records, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Like one
if-
summer, I was like, I want to get really good at like opening bottles of beer like in cool ways.
Fastest burger made.
Okay.
Fully assembled, all the toppings from raw patty to, because I think like there can only
You're
be
saying
a
like,
handful of guys.
would you
do it.
cook the burger
I
from
would,
scratch?
I would cook it, toast the bun, and assemble the toppings.
That's cool.
I think I could do it in under 2 minutes. When I
You
worked
think
at-
you could be like a line cook at?
I was a line cook.
Okay.
I'll leave
There
you. I'll leave you with
Got
the
an
final
for
anecdote.
everything.
I worked at a burger shack, and on our grand opening, my grandmother came, and I was on the grill. There was almost no disrespect to my manager there, but
Yep.
you set me up for failure. There was almost no training. It was who knows how to turn on the grill. I lied and said I knew how to do it,
Flip.
and they just threw me on there. And my grandmother texted me after and said, "How did you know I like my burger rare?" These were all supposed to come out well done. I probably poisoned thousands of Mainers over that one summer, and no one ever came to. The only person that ever tried to shut me down, the health inspector, came one time.
Gee, this is like an episode of Bob's Burgers.
I was
Like,
eating soft serve ice cream while I was flipping burgers, and our kitchen is completely open to the public. You can watch me. You can watch me make your burger.
Yeah.
And someone reported it. The health inspector
Probably
came
as
by.
they should, by the way.
Was eating soft serve ice cream, and I was not asked back the following summer.
How old were you?
17.
Yeah, I feel like if I walk into a place and a 17-year-old's licking like
The highest kids you've ever seen. It's 11 in the
I'm
morning.
not gonna go back there again.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. I think that's fair. Yeah, this guy set the record for jumping jacks. That's not that impressive. Pogo sticking up Mount Fiji. That sounds exhausting.
What about brightest flashlight? I think I could figure that out.
Brightest
If
flashlight.
you gave me all the, if you
That's
gave
a
me,
technology
I know.
situation.
If you gave me all the tools, I think I could, because I just take the governor off.
Yeah, but
Full force.
Okay, what's gonna stop you when your competition does the same thing?
No one.
That's not a
everyone's
skill.
scared.
That's
It's kind of like
technology issue.
it's kind of like an F1 where he's like, he has a wife and kids at home. I knew he was going to make that turn. Like,
Rusty's got nothing to lose.
The scariest man in the world is the man with nothing to lose, and I would create one that could blind an elephant.
I think okay, all right. I think that's a good place to leave it. Rusty, thank you for joining the pod. You're the man. I appreciate it. Stop cheating at stone skipping. All right, let's take a quick break to talk about something important. I was such a bad overdrafter for most of my early 20s. I actually learned a trick from my coworker. He said if you go to a bar on Thursday night and you're getting paid on Friday, open a tab, don't close it until like 12:30 because then your paycheck will arrive and you won't overdraft your account. Isn't that a smart thing to do? A smarter thing to do would be to manage your money better or also sign up for Cash App. Here's the thing about Cash App. Cash App does more than you think when it comes to having your back and making sure that your money stays your money, okay? If you direct deposit at least $300 in paychecks every month and use the Cash App card for purchases, you can unlock up to $200 in free overdraft coverage. If you overdraft unexpectedly, there are no hidden fees. That is the worst part about overdrafting. Not only do you have no money, you also get charged for having no money, so then you have even less money. Not with Cash App. Manage your money on your terms and take advantage of free overdraft coverage up to $200 on Cash App today. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code Friday10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sudden Bank, member FDIC. Direct deposit and overdraft coverage provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. It is officially fall, which means that Hot Boy Europe summer is over. But in our hearts, it lives forever. Because we had our first ever international correspondent, Matt, head to the mean streets across the pond and tell us everything you need to know to have an incredible summer in Europe. He shared it with us in video format. Matt, take it away.
Dear Jack, I write to you from the continent of Europe, and I can't begin to thank you for fully funding this daily Friday learning excursion. I've decided to put together some recs for the ultimate Europe experience, a Michelin guide for living, a treasure map to the streets with no name. This is for any listeners interested in history, fine arts, and the extremes of human emotion. Here's how to do Europe right. Begin your journey in Amsterdam and skip every museum, club, and restaurant. Instead, head straight to the Weed Cafe, where Danny Ocean, Rusty Ryan, and Linus Caldwell meet with Matsui in Ocean's 12. Then, head a couple blocks south to the river, specifically to the house Danny, Rusty, and crew lifted in Ocean's 12. Then, beeline it across Germany, through the Alps, and down to Rome. So much to see in this ancient city, specifically the Parthenon. Why? It's where Rusty Ryan gets chased by the police and meets Isabel Lahiri in Ocean's 12. That's all I've got. The rest of the time, I've just been kicking it. Send my best to Gam Gam and Old Man Withers. Soft regards, the Pioneer. P.S. The card's bouncing. Send cash.
Thank you, Matt. If you want to hear more from Matt, go check out the Elevator Pitch Pod, right? That is a podcast with Tanner Roberts from our office and Will Peters from our office as well. It's an incredible podcast. I know you're going to love it. And also, check out Matt's newsletter called The Pioneer Online. It is my favorite newsletter. Your favorite newsletter's favorite newsletter was on the podcast this week. Isn't that incredible? It's a glorious day in Daily Friday history. Thank you, Matt. We love you. All right, guys, we are going to wrap up this week's episode with some of my favorite things that I saw this week. If you go to someone and say, did you see this week? These are things that you can bring up. Kate, did you see the wholesome text from the 81-year-old softball player?
Yeah.
This was easily my favorite online thing this week. 2.5 million views on Twitter, 15 million views on TikTok. Pull it up. I'm going to read you guys the text.
I don't think I can look at this again.
I know. I've read this so many times. It just makes my heart full. A woman posted this on TikTok. She basically said, my husband is in a local softball league. This is the message his 81-year-old teammate sent the group at 2:30 a.m. Well, guys, just up to do my middle of the night pee. I have been laying in bed for the past half hour thinking about tonight's game and thinking about the great bunch of guys I'm allowed to play with. I really appreciate the way you guys treat me as an equal and not just an old fart. You know there's a couple of songs I often think of. One is Don't Let the Old Man In. The other is When I Get Old. I love Don't Let the Old Man In, by the way. The first one I like, the second I do not. It's you guys that keep me living for the first one. Except for you guys, I would not be playing ball. No daily walks, no light weights. There would be no reason to do those things. It's all of you who keep me going and give me reason to get out of bed in the morning. All of you should take pride in knowing that there's one old fart you keep going every day. I don't know if I'll get another year in this league or not. Shit, I don't buy green bananas anymore. That part made me tear up a little bit. If you don't buy green bananas because you think you might die soon. But I do know this is the year of ball play I will remember. All because of 14 great people. I will do my best to contribute to the team, but some days are better than others. Now I will try to go to La La Land again. That is really sweet. You know, if you can do something like that for someone in your life, do it this weekend. Old people, I love you guys. You don't get enough respect in society. Honestly, we don't know who this guy is. I actually did email the woman to see if I could get in contact. Yet to respond. Could be a guest. This is the kind of story that I want to hear more of, folks. We have a Friday Beer softball team that is starting next week. If there are any old people that are listening to this right now and want to join and live in Santa Monica, join the team, okay? Don't let the old man in or old woman in. Another incredible thing I saw this week. Click that link, Kate. This is a page I follow called Baseball History Nut. It's a picture of a big fella, George, quote, Fatty Hackett, the world's heaviest baseball player at 450 pounds. He is an absolute unit of a man. I just want to focus on the nickname Fatty. I miss when nicknames were just like right on the nose. Like you just notice something about someone and that's their name. My nickname would be just like a washed up alcoholic. Jack, alcoholic Jack. I love it. Jack, alcoholic Jack. Jack, alcoholic Lawler. No, I mean, this is an incredible name, and this guy is a fucking unit. The amount of fabric involved for this uniform could keep several third world countries afloat economically. So shout out George Fatty Hackett. George Fatty Hackett. George Fatty Hackett. You are the fat guy of the week. Respectfully. He's probably dead. This was in 1906. The third story that I saw this week that I just thought was cool. A scuba thief. A thief decked out in a wetsuit and scuba gear swam off with $20,000 that he stole from a waterfront restaurant in Walt Disney World. This dude basically swam up to the restaurant, climbed on, took the cash, and then swam away. That's fucking Ocean's 11 type shit, all for like 20 grand. That's pretty cool. You should get to keep this money if you do something cool like this. I know it's like a crime and everything, but whatever. Let people live. Guys, that is all the news that's fit the podcast this week. Have an amazing weekend. We love you. And as always, go frickin' Jets. This is the week. I swear to God. Daily Friday Podcast.